All right, everybody. Hello, hello. We are going to get this show on the road. So I'll ask you kindly all to please join me in standing up, and we're going to have Matt join us up here and lead us in the pledge.
Good afternoon, all. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty
liberty,
and justice.
justice for all.
Matt, you can remain standing. And Paul Bennett, if you wouldn't mind leading us in the invocation, please.
Yeah. And let us bow our heads, please. Together, today we gather together. Let us see how the gift of Rotary is evident in this room. Let us see those around us, each an individual with special gifts that are shared. Let us remind ourselves of our commitment to service. Let us ask for you to be with each and every one of us. For as we go through our daily routines and interact with others, that we always look to further our efforts to serve, all the while focusing on the objects of Rotary and implementing these with your help. Amen.
Thanks, Paul. All right, everybody, go ahead and have a seat. It's a nice full house today, so thank you all for joining us. I think I recognize Doris. It's great to see you, Doris. It's been a while, I think, so it's welcome back. I'm just used to seeing your forehead from Zoom, so it's nice to see the rest of you. All right. Well, welcome also for all of those on Zoom, Maria Elena and Doug, and who else is on there? Barbara, it's good to see you all. Oh, Sharon and Liz, I think, are on there. So, yeah, Andrew and BJ. So it's great to see everyone. We have a very good meeting today, so I'm going to get jumped right into our normal protocol and start by asking to see if there's any visiting Rotarians joining us. I know we have some. So, Merle, I think if you wouldn't mind introducing your guest today. There's a mic coming. So.
Before I forget, my wife, Mary Lou.
All right, Mary Lou.
And I told him one of my friends that are visiting, and that one of the unique things about this club is there's a number of former district governors in this club. And so I'm going to introduce you to a couple of former district governors from District 6000 today. Corliss and Jeannie Clausen. They live in near Des Moines. I forget what year you were. 2005 and 6. And over here is Terry and Peggy Geiger. If you'd stand. I forget what year you were. 12 and 13. So those are, they live in Lake of the Ozarks. They have a home. They used to live in Southern Iowa, in District 6000, but now he retired. He's a retired banker. Corliss is a retired pharmacist. And they moved to Lake of the Ozarks, where they spend about 6 months out of the year. They have a home in Laughlin, Nevada, where they spend, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, and then they have a motor home, and they're all over. So they're here for a couple of weeks. Corliss and Jeannie stay in the same resort that Mary Lou and I have a place in, and they're here for 3 months of the winter. So.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you all. Andy, I know you have a guest as well.
I'm honored to introduce you to Bob Mercero, who's my brother-in-law.
Oh,
Pam's
Bob.
sister's husband. And they are from a variety of locations. I'll let Bob enumerate.
Thanks, Andy. I was a Rotarian back in Grand Haven, Michigan, where I still maintain a home, and I spend more time there than anywhere else. But my wife and I spend a lot of time on a sailboat in Miami in the Bahamas, and then in a motorhome wherever that takes us. So it's good to be here. And I've been here once upon a time 4 or 5 years ago. Good to be back.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Bob. All right. So any other guests or visiting Rotarians? All right. We'll move right along. Anyone on Zoom? Sorry, I didn't ask. Still getting used to this after 7 or 8 months, but I don't think we have any online. So let me see here. A few announcements. Tonight, Dove Mountain Casino Night. Our Dove Mountain Rotary Club is having their casino night from 5 to 9:30 at the Highlands. It's $65 a person, and you can buy tickets online, or I think in person as well. So if you are looking for something to do this evening, you can make some money and support a good cause there. Let me see here. This will be a recurring announcement. Maybe every now and then I'll announce it, but District Governor-elect Anita's installation is coming up here before you know it. So it's in June. So just kind of putting that in the back of your mind. It's a few months away, but something we should all be there to support her as she kind of starts her her district governor year. So let me see. I'm going to turn it over to Michael. Do you have some updates there on our social gathering that's coming up?
Yes, we're all set for Sunday, the 27th at 11. We have over 30 people confirmed to come, so we're going to have quite the group there. And the club is paying for all the volunteers, and then it's $20 for your guests. And we're going to have a bocce tournament as well, which there'll be more of that to come.
Perfect.
Yep.
Great. So if anyone's interested in signing up,
Yeah, email me or call me. It's on the Facebook page as an event. So you can do it that way. You can email me, and it's in the wagon wheel as well.
great.
Yep.
All right. Should be a fun event. Thanks for organizing that to you and Pat. So looking forward to that. Let me see. Bobby D, do you have an update on road cleanup?
So the road cleanup is Saturday, April 9th at our usual location, which is at the corner of Swan and Skyline. We meet at the 7-Eleven at 8 o'clock. There's a sign-up sheet on everybody's table. Encourage you to participate. It's pretty light work. People aren't throwing trash out like they used to. I don't know why. And anybody on Zoom, maybe just indicate in the chat that you'd like to participate. We will go to Finney's Landing afterwards. We had a really nice brunch there at their outdoor seating area the last time we did it in the fall. So that's the story.
Great. Well, thanks for organizing that. It's a fun little event. It's actually went pretty quick, and it was good hanging out afterwards. So if you're able to join, please do so. Let me see. Any other announcements? Because if not, we've got a special guest today. I'm going to be, well, I guess it goes back a few years now. So part of our program today, and Maria Elena, I think I saw you on there somewhere. Thank you so much for kind of coordinating all of this. We have a great speaker today. Michael Martinez is someone that I met a few years ago, kind of our paths crossed somewhere. And I've gotten to know his organization there, Live Theater Workshop. Some of you might recognize it used to be there on Speedway in Rosemontish. And they have a new location, opened up a couple years ago now, but in pandemic years, that's like 15 years ago, I think. So it's been there a good amount of time, and it looks great over on Fort Lowell, around Dodge, I guess, somewhere around there. So so Michael Martinez is going to be here, or is here today, to tell us a little bit about himself and live theater, and is a little bit of a special presentation. But before I bring him up here, I want to give you a little bit of background on him. So Michael is the executive director, writer, composer, and performer at Live Theater Workshop. He has been working with Live Theater Workshop since 2001. And also teaches musical theater classes, as well as creating and teaching musical theater programming for Tucson area schools. Michael received his bachelor's degree in music from the University of Arizona, where he focused on vocal performance and composition. In spring 2013, Michael completed his Master of Public Administration degree at the University of Arizona. His MPA degree focused on nonprofit management and program evaluation. Michael is a professor of arts management at the U of A School of Theater, Film, and Television, and is devoted to creating opportunities for marginalized communities who have been systematically blocked from participating in arts and arts education. Arts and creativity strengthen our community by driving economic, social, and educational activities with great efficiency. Michael will highlight his experiences as an artist and arts administrator working to make theater and theater education accessible to a wider and more diverse audience. This presentation will be peppered with great behind-the-scenes stories as well as some hands-on theater education experiences. So please help me welcome Michael Martinez.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here. And Jimmy, thanks for inviting me. Maria Elena, thank you so much for coordinating and getting me all sorted out there. I really appreciate it. Great introduction, Jimmy. I'll just go into a little bit more detail and we'll have time for questions at the end. But yeah, I'm one of those rare people that just stick around in a job for, 20 plus years. Weird to say that, but that's what happened. And it's a very similar kind of story to what's happening at Live Theater Workshop. We have a lot of employees that have been there for ages and ages. And one of my favorite pieces of knowledge about that is that some of my employees are actually former students, 3 of them, in fact, who I taught at one point and now are employees of the theater company. So it's kind of a place, theater, I think in general is a place that sucks you in, but it seems to keep people sticking around. So yeah, I started my career as a vocal performer in opera at the University of Arizona and playing the piano. And I happened to show up right after graduation at Live Theater Workshop and said, hey, do you need a piano player? And I played the piano for them for a couple of years and just got into doing more and more and more, got interested in the administrative piece of running a theater company, went back to school for that, and kind of just in perfect timing, the executive director who was running the organization at that time left, and they said, you're the only one who knows how to do it. And I said, I have one more semester of grad school. No. And then I did it anyway and just never left. So it's a great time. We have been growing and growing for years and years. We had a little 2,400 square foot theater company space on Speedway, like Jimmy mentioned earlier, and it wasn't enough. We were growing, we were renting space. And so right around 2019, well, I had been working on it for ages, 10 years probably, but right around 2019, we purchased a new building and started to renovate it. And then bam, we shut down theater, which was really a very interesting timing to say the least. But we made it. We're thriving. We've opened our doors. We are no longer performing in our parking lot outside, and it's really delightful to see the new theater space and be using it more than ever. So we did say interactive. We saw everybody kind of could feel the room collectively kind of flinch when that happened. I'll be kind. But I just want to do a little exercise to start off, and then I'll kind of get into my presentation. So what we're going to do, as theater people do, we're going to play a theater game. And so this game seems really simple, but we'll see how it goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, I play this with 5-year-olds all the way up to, so brace yourselves. We're going to say the ABCs as a group. And how we're going to do that is we're going to just do it one person at a time. Whenever you feel like you want to say A, you're going to say A, nice and loud so everybody can hear you. Project. We teach projection in theater a lot. The rules are that you're not allowed to indicate that you're about to say a letter. You have to go in order from A to Z. And if 2 people say a letter at the same time, we stop and we start all over from the beginning. So you're going to want to be in touch with your teammates here in this room right now as we do this. Yeah, the vibe of it is that we're not going to be indicating that we're saying a letter. We're just going to feel like it's the time for us to say a letter and hoping for nobody to. We've begun. I've got an A and a B. Keep going. B, A, F, G. Oh. Oh, it's okay. So we'll take a quick moment. Let's take a deep breath in together to get focused. Ready, go. A, B, C, D, E, F. Give it 2 more tries.
Say your same letter. So last time you said A, say A again.
That sounds like a pattern that we're not allowed to do. Yes, that is great. And that is a wonderful thing to bring to the table. And then this is what happens, right? Immediately we start like, okay, we can make this work. Let's figure it out. But I am here to be the fun police. We're going to try it 2 more times. Deep breath. Ready, go.
A, B, C,
D, E, F, G,
H,
I,
J.
J.
L.
All right, last time, make it count. Ready, go.
A,
B,
C,
G,
E, F, G.
H.
I.
Ah, wonderful. Give yourself a round of applause. So what I've learned from this group, right, first off, I've noticed that there's a lot of really great voices, loud voices. So see me after if you're interested in being in a show. We could use those voices. So that is, all right, I'm ready to kind of look at my PowerPoint here in a second. Do I get to see it or?
Yes.
Great. So one of the things that we do with our students is this exact game. And when we work with our students for about a week, they get from A to Z, no problem. And so what happens there is when we're working in this cohesive unit, these students are really learning to pay attention to some really important skills, which are teamwork, empathy, focusing on each other and listening and learning about each other and learning like who's that person that's always going to say A and who's that person that's going to be really fast or who's that person who's going to say too many letters. So you got to keep an eye on that person. So they're really, really aware of each other as a group. And this is a really important skill that these students learn through theater. So I'm going to switch the slide, maybe. Can I switch the slide? It's not working.
You should be able to.
Forward.
Let's see.
Is this thing on? So anyways, what I'll do is I'll just tell you a quick story about the importance of these skills, but also these kind of programs in schools. So we do a lot of outreach into schools. We go into schools and we bring performances to kids, but we also bring workshops where the kids create the performances for their family and friends. And so years ago, not a few years ago, we went to a school and there's a little kid named Marcos running down the hallway to be part of our program. We were going to be producing The Lion King with a group of 5th graders. He was so excited, right? They've seen the movie and he's running down the hallway with his backpack, so excited to come and be part of this program because he knew it, you know, it was something exciting. And we get these kids, we do our silly warm-ups, our ABC games, make everyone a little uncomfortable and get people connected. And then as soon as it was Marcos's turn to get up on the stage to audition and talk about which part, like he was out, right? We all have that feeling of being nervous, of getting in front of people, especially at that age, or especially if you haven't had experience doing it.
Just tell me when to advance this.
Thanks. Yeah, you can go forward one. So he got past it. The pull of trying to be part of something that he was really excited about was enough for him to get over that fear. He got up on the stage and he told us that he wanted to play Simba, right? He wanted to be the lead of the show, which was really exciting. And we went, you know, with these programs are usually 8 weeks for us. And we went 8 weeks with these kids. Thanks. Working on the show, getting the costumes ready, doing the sets, all of this stuff. Getting the parents engaged as well, which is really important, especially in these schools where there's not a lot of parent engagement. It's economically depressed, and anything that you can do to bring the community together is really wonderful. Doing The Lion King or shows like that is really powerful. So we had our opening performance. The kids got up on the stage. They did amazing. Marcos did really, really wonderful. And at the end of that performance, both the principal, who, you know, was a little bit involved but hadn't seen the process, and his mother were just off to the side in tears. And I was like, oh, they hated it. Oh, no. We're never coming back to the school. So we went over to just check and see what happened. And what we found out at that moment is that Marcos in his classroom had been labeled as a non-speaking ESL student. He was so afraid to speak English because it wasn't his first language that in class he didn't speak at all, or minimally. And so for his principal and his mom to see him up on the stage performing and speaking English was just overwhelming. And as soon as we found that overwhelming as well. And so what we realized is that kids don't always need this straightforward curriculum that is given to them. There needs to be other opportunities and avenues for kids to kind of plug into school for a variety of reasons, right? There could be disabilities, there could be language barriers. And so by offering different types of programming in schools, we gave this kid a connection that was just the right thing for him to realize that he could be brave enough to speak. Like that, being that lion on that stage was powerful enough that he wasn't afraid to speak. It didn't matter anymore. He didn't have to really be himself. And so he was able to speak. And this type of programming in schools, is falling away. We don't have this as part of our curriculum. We talk about it as extracurricular. And our belief and our values at Live Theater Workshop is that art and theater in schools is not extra. It's part of the curriculum. So we go into schools and we are part of schools in a way that we can bring this curriculum to these kids and to these teachers and to these specific schools so that they can work on some of these skills, not just these skills that allow these kids to, find a place where they can plug in and make it exciting to go to school and be part of the program, and feel safe, but learning to work as a team. This is a huge skill. It's very important to be, we see it in our daily lives on the news all the time. Like, we're not super good at working at teams right now. So that's a really important skill and it's not innate. Creative problem solving, that happens in theater all the time, where innovation is important because you have $12 to put up the Lion King set. You work together to make that happen. It's really innate to that theater programming, that innovation and problem solving. The empathy, the ABCs, right? Being able to acknowledge who's different from you and see who is like you and how you work together and how you complement each other and where you avoid each other. It's really important. Again, it's not an innate skill and it's something that needs to be in our schools. And then of course, self-esteem, which was the case for Marcos. He just needed a way to kind of get in there and feel good about himself so that he could speak English and show that he actually could speak English and that it didn't have to be something that was holding him back and pushing him down. So that is that story, but the data is in on all of these types of programs as well. There's been study after study about the value of arts in communities, and it's particularly poignant and powerful in communities of color and marginalized communities where kids have less access to this stuff. So these statistics that I have up here are even more powerful in these schools where kids don't have access to this. And I'll just leave this up here and I'll share this with you. I don't want to read through all of it, but these ways of getting kids engaged with their school creates kids that are connected to their teachers and their school in a way that gets them better attendance. And if you have better attendance, you're in that school and you're learning, your grades are better, your test scores are better. The kids who go on to college related to how their involvement in arts programming is huge. And to not offer this type of programming in schools that don't have enough money is reprehensible in our mind. So that's what we focus on as an organization, is bringing this type of programming to schools that don't have it. And I'll share that with you later. And of course, I didn't know I did this fancy fly-in. It's as if I was organized. So, and of the other piece, and I don't know that I even need to make this argument to you, but something that we see in arts in communities in general, besides this great educational value, is that we have a great economic bolstering that comes from arts organizations in our communities. For every dollar, and you can all read, so I don't need to tell you all of this, but for every dollar that we invest into the arts, you get amazing philanthropic support, you get jobs, you get grant funding that comes into your community specifically because of these nonprofit or for-profit arts organizations living in your organization or living in your communities. I look at you all and I think with those ABCs, you probably all are pretty good art supporters as is, so I don't need to tell this to you in detail, but the point is that the benefits of this type of programming is huge for our communities, and to not invest into it is really a mistake. It's an opportunity that we have to make our communities more livable, more connected, and more economically viable. So I want to talk a little bit more about Live Theater Workshop. We've been this tiny little theater company for many, many years. We were founded in 1994 in a basement of a church. I wasn't there that time. I was still in high school. But the work that we've been doing in this tiny little theater for years was serving hundreds and hundreds of kids. So we were connecting to schools. We were offering scholarships. We have great foundation partners who pay for students to take scholarships, to go into schools at no charge to those schools. And we serve, well, this is bigger. My slide is a little out of date here, but we're serving close to 800 kids a year, and most of them, more than half of them, are scholarships. And these are kids that are coming to us, doing programming in our building, and kids that we go out to as well. One really cool thing about our change was that we were in this 2,400 square foot little tiny building, couldn't turn around without bumping into somebody. Now we have a 850 square foot, or 8,500 square feet. And we have 2 theaters, we have a courtyard, we have a workshop. And now with some of our foundational partners, we are busing kids into our program, doing 200 kids at a time. They're doing workshops, they're watching shows, they're rotating, they're having lunch with actors in costumes, really plugging in a way that they can really see themselves and see the opportunity for them to be involved in this type of programming. And now we have the space to do it, which is really great, and some outdoor space as well. So the mission of Live Theater Workshop is to produce theater education in Tucson that entertains, educates, and enlightens a diverse group of children, adults, and families. The way we do that is by having 4 really great programs. We have a main stage program where we produce shows that the community comes and sees, kind of that traditional theater model. You go on a Friday, Saturday night, Sunday matinee, and you watch a show, professional actors, local actors. We have our education department, which I've talked to about a lot with you, but we have summer camps, we have classes, we have workshops, a lot of kids being involved. We also have a professional children's theater program where we have professional actors performing children's theater for kids and their families in our community. And a lot of those are local writers and musicians who are writing those shows. That's been my opportunity to write a lot of shows for that program, as well as some, you got your Annies and your Frog and Toads, your Charlie Browns, all those famous shows as well. So we mix it up. And then one of my favorite programs is our Etc. Late Nights, which you're all invited. We have a show. It starts at 10 p.m. at night. And I know it's a late hour, but these shows are really wonderful. In this program, we work with a lot of university or community college kids to produce derived works, new works, things that are a little edgier. And those shows happen at 10 p.m. Usually. So if you can drink enough coffee and come, I highly recommend that you do. So we have these 4 programs that are working together to kind of serve the community and connect into the community at as many different places as we can, so that we are really serving all of Tucson. We see ourselves kind of uniquely as a theater company, as a public service organization. I think that's not been the typical model for arts organizations. I think that it's been a little more elitist in that we're like, this is our art for you, and you should enjoy us. But we get a lot of public money and public funding. And so the crux of our mission and vision is based in this idea that we owe to our community the services that we provide. And we owe that to as many and diverse a group of people in Tucson as we possibly can. It also turns out that financially, that structure is really fantastic and unique, in that we are a really high earned revenue organization, and that at any given time something isn't working really well, like say a pandemic, you could create a whole bunch of online Zoom classes and still fund that organization through fees and grants and donations that way. And so it's been, I think we're pretty nimble because of the diversity of types of programming we have, which has helped us grow and has helped us survive and get going where we're at. So those are all of the fun programs. I want to take a little time to tell some stories and ask some, have you ask some questions if you're interested. But before I kind of plow through things, and Jimmy, please tell me when I'm going over time. If it doesn't, has anybody been to Live Theater Workshop here? Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. It's new, and have you been to the new space? Oh, well, come check it out. It's really great. It's a lot of, we have that children's theater and the main stage theater, so there's more going on than ever before. And maybe even outside. We have a great outdoor stage that we thought we would retire, but now we realize that we could do something like Shakespeare in the parking lot. So keep that in mind, coming soon to a theater near you. Yeah. Yeah, this is our final week of a performance called The Kreutzer Sonata. It's based off of a Tolstoy story, kind of set with the backdrop of Beethoven's Kreutzer Sonata, like leading, underscoring this story. It's kind of dark. It's kind of heavy, but the actor is really fantastic, and people have really been enjoying that. We also have on our professional children's theater stage, we're producing Take a Hike, which is a local musical written by two youngsters. They're in their 20s that wrote the show. They're U of A students. And we're opening up what I'm really excited about on our late night, the 10 o'clock show that you're all invited to, called Fremont Junior High is Not Doing Oklahoma. Really very funny show. Yes.
Okay, great. So we're going to have some time here for some questions. So please raise your hand and I'll get the microphone over to you.
Great.
All right, Grace.
Thank you.
Sing a little opera for us.
Oh my gosh. So maybe. We'll see, maybe on my way out the door so I don't have to look at it. I finished my undergrad in 2002 at the U of A. It's been studying opera for years and years and years, and got to the final jury where they're listening to me sing all my opera songs and grading me, and left that building thinking, man, I really hate opera. And so I'm still really involved in music, but I think I just was saturated with it to the point where I was no longer interested and haven't sung opera in a very long time. But as I say that, the lyrics, the Italian, the German lyrics are coming to my mind. I'll just tell a quick story because it's just delightful for one of my favorite. So every semester you learn like 6 or 7 songs in various languages, and then you go in front of jury of your professors and you sing one song that you pick and one song that they pick out of your repertoire. And of course, they picked a German song that I couldn't really remember all of the words to. And it's hard to make up German if that's not your first language. So I sang what I knew and I got through most of it, but there were certainly times when I was singing gibberish German to the tune. And out of all 8 of those professors, one of them wrote, "Oh, it sounds like you don't know the German." And everybody else said, 100%. So fake it till you make it in action right there. Right over here. Yeah. Oh, sure. Sorry.
So actually not a question, but a comment, a great program. So 5 years ago, this club had a big project. We identified the exact same problem that you found with children going to schools in low income areas. There's a program in TUSD called OMA that you're probably familiar with.
Yeah, I still
So
work
we
with
worked
them.
the Boys and Girls Club. We figured out that the majority of the feeder schools of the Boys and Girls Clubs no OMA program because there's no money.
Mhm.
And we funded a creative arts center, $50,000, converted an 1,800 square foot space. We've actually had a program called Know Your Voice or Find Your Voice with an opera singer that's come in, and we have a full-time volunteer art teacher there. The program now is completely self-funding. We found the same thing you do. We have an art show every year. Parents come and they're in tears. They can't believe their kids are doing this. So, and we do have a stage And we do have a ballet bar and mirrors, and we have a recording studio. Theater sounds like something that we need to explore some kind of way.
Yeah, that deserves a round of applause for sure. Yeah, absolutely. When you see the intensity and the change in these kids who are participating in these programs, you just leave with the idea that, like, how could we not give this to every kid? Like, the friendships and the bonds that these kids have made with each other and the learning and the connection to their community is really powerful. And to not do it seems like a real loss. So thank you for that. That's really amazing.
So when you choose or are choosing a play to present, I'm sure you have to go through some process to get permission, to get the scripts, probably pay some royalties or something.
Yeah.
How does that work? And what's the price level that you have to pay in that situation?
Sure. So it varies widely. There's several theater publishing houses in the country, but there's a few real big ones like Brooklyn publishers, dramatists. Well, you don't need to know all of them. I can't remember them anyway, but they hold the rights to certain scripts. So I find a script, I like it. I see which publishing company has that. I fill out a license agreement, say, can we do this show? And they say yes or no, and send me a bill. And the bill is often is based on what type of theater you are. So there's various, there's equity theaters, there's community theaters, high school theaters. And then the number of people that you seat in your audience. The price range for us as a semi-professional non-equity theater is it ranges from, if we're doing a kids show, for maybe $25 a performance, all the way up to $300 or $400 a performance. And so, yeah, those royalty fees can be kind of expensive, depending on the show you want to do. Musicals tend to be, popular musicals tend to be the most expensive. There's a company that holds most of them, which is Musical Theater International. Those have your Annies, your Oklahomas, all those really famous popular musicals. And those, that's going to be $3,000 or $4,000 to run a single show. And we do that with our kids. A lot of them have created junior versions of these musicals, so they're like cut down a little bit. They're not as hard, and so we produce those shows with the kids as well, kind of a flat fee, and they send you all the books and they send you all the music, and then you produce the thing with the kids or the kids in the schools. That also depends. Usually with those junior musical ones, they let the kids keep the scripts as a keepsake, but we did a great show a couple years ago called Always Patsy Cline, which was it was just Patsy Cline singing your songs and telling your stories. We had a full band. It was a really great show, but they were locked down tight. Like, don't copy this, erase your pencil marks. We actually ended up copying it because we were so scared to like ruin their scripts that we had to send back. But a lot of professional musicals, they make you send everything back at the end. They keep a tight lock on that. Yeah. Yes.
Obviously we've got some really fine professional theater and high school theater in Tucson. And I'm just curious, do you have any kind of coordination with ATC or Invisible Theater or maybe the Tucson High program or anything like that?
Yeah.
For exposure for the kids?
Yeah, we connect with theaters. We play really good with other theaters, so that's kind of part of our value system. Is that we really subscribe to this idea that we want Tucson to be a community that's dense with theater organizations, and that we partner and work with those people, kind of floating all the boats. Right, we're making it seem like Tucson is a theater destination, and so we work really close, sharing resources. We do have a lot of great partners at Arizona Theater Company, Invisible Theater. We are currently, with our new space, we have rental space. So we have theater companies that don't even have a home, building in our shop, storing some of their stuff in our shop, and a couple of them coming in to perform when we happen to not be performing. So those partnerships are strengthening. The thing that I'm most excited about is our connection with the high school programs. So we are really connected with almost maybe every single high school, several middle schools in town. And what we do is we have mentorship programs where those kids can come in and they can observe, fulfill some of their projects that they need to do at school, or they can, sometimes we hire them to be stage managers or set builders. And we have a great program that's in its third year that's just kicking off right now called the Young Playwrights Festival of Tucson, which is available to every high school and middle school students. And these kids submit their 15-minute plays. We have mentors that judge those, pick the top 7. And then in the summer, we will work with a full student cast and crew to produce those 7 plays for families and friends. And all those high school teachers come in as mentors for the directing, the lighting, the costume design. They aren't working as much in the summer, so they come and work with us. We pay them, gets their students involved, and it gets them involved and connected to us. So on a daily basis, I'm frequently driving out to a high school with our little clunky van and either dropping off a set piece or some costumes or picking up something from one of their high school shops. It's a really important partnership for us.
Great. Any other questions? Well, if not, then I would like to thank you, Michael, so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I'm around if you want to audition or come see a show.
Yeah, we haven't forgotten that, Michael. Okay, yeah, by all means, please. All right.
Caro mio ben, credimi almen. That's all I got.
Well, that's great. No, thank you so much, Michael. And in case you're wondering, so I think we had Michael's contact information up on the screen before. I don't know if it's possible to put it back up, but Live Theater is a nonprofit, so they do rely on a lot of support from our community, and obviously Live Theater's investing a lot back into our community, so it's a great way if you want to visit their website. They have a lot of good information on there, and please do catch a show. They have great performances there, and I think you'll be very happy. Check out the new digs, and make sure to say hi to Michael, because you are also a performer as well often during these plays, right? Well, I guess that's you're a victim of your own success, so you're kind of getting more into the fundraising. Is that cliched? Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. And Michael, one of the things that Rotary International, it's a worldwide organization. Our Rotary Club is just a part of it. And one of the big causes that Rotary International devotes itself to is eradication of polio. Obviously, that goes back several years, several decades. And we've partnered with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, so they kind of take a lot of the credit, but we're the ones that are boots on the ground, kind of taking care of a lot of the vaccinations, inoculations kind of around the world. And so just in your honor, just a small token of our appreciation for you coming over and telling us about Live Theater is we're going to have make a donation to the Rotary Foundation to donate to vaccinate 25 kids against polio. So thank you so much for joining us. All right, so I didn't do laundry in a while. I don't know. Yeah, Happy Bucks it is. So I don't know. Wait, hold on. I always forget the order here. But first, before Happy Bucks, we're going to do a Queen of Hearts. So we have a few Rotarian guests. So some of you might do it at your clubs. So every week we draw. We have a little bit of let's raise some money and make it interesting. So we have our Queen of Hearts competition. We have a deck of cards. I think we down to 36. Is that how many? So we start off with 52 cards. And so every week we draw a name to give someone the opportunity to draw a card. If you draw the Queen of Hearts, you win half the pot. And so we've been doing this for this round for a few months now. And so every week you're able to purchase tickets. We have our Queen of Hearts information online, so you can buy them there if you're on Zoom. And so this week I'm going to call on Bobby D to tell us who's going to be the person involved with the drawing.
Yeah, we're actually down to 34 cards, and we've been doing it for 18 weeks. And we had a banner day today for sales in person, and we're up to $1,960. So I guess in the honor of our guests, past District Governor Al Chesser was the winner today.
Three of diamonds. We're heartbroken, Al. We're really rooting for you there. But hey, now you're on a streak here, streak of one. So you just buy again next week or 2 weeks from now, and maybe we can get Georgia some new toys there. So so onward it goes. Bobby D, thank you for taking charge of that, and and Pablo, of course, all right. So next item on the agenda, we've got our sergeant at arms, and so I'm going to call on Michael Trouton. If you can join me up here, please.
Thank you very much, everybody, for that warm welcome. We're going to start off here. Kirk, I'm going to have a question for you here in a second. What is this right here, Kirk?
That looks like the World Championship trophy.
World Series trophy, that's right. Next slide for me. What's this? Everyone know what this is? It's a NCAA championship trophy right here. Next slide for me. Little Lombardi trophy. Next one.
Basketball.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby D, can you come up here and help me really quick? Can you get these out and show them to everybody? So we have a bocce ball tournament coming up here.
The other major sport.
The other major sport. These right here could be you and your partners. If you win, can you read those? What does it say there?
The 2022 Catalina Rotary Club Bocce Ball Champion.
Hey.
So that could be yours. So I know, but some of you were thinking, I'm not going to play in the tournament. Can I side bet? Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. So there's a four-way test to the betting the Catalina Rotary Bocce Club tournament. Is the game rigged? Is the other person have a ringer, for instance? Tony's bringing his son in to play with him. So is the bet part of a parlay? You know, the Rotary might be a degenerate gambler and it might be tied to 10 other bets. Will the losing party pay up? Another crucial thing. And most importantly, will the club get its cut? So that's what we have for that. I know we have a lot of happy bucks out there because we didn't have the sergeant last week. But Tom, what do you got going on next week?
Yeah, I'm going to miss a bocce ball tournament because I'm going to be in Telluride skiing.
What's on the 23rd?
That's my birthday. That's why I'm going to be in Telluride. It's a tradition. And it's kind of a tradition. I always give a leg up on my birthday too.
Okay.
So there you go.
That's what I was checking on.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
I understand this is a fundraising event. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. Hold on. I need a can man for you, Michael.
Oh, Bobby D, you're on the can, aren't you? Bob Grady. Yes. What about what's going on? What do you have at the end of the month?
The end of the month. I might have a birthday as well. It's not a significant birthday.
Not a significant.
So it
Okay.
doesn't really count,
We can
but
move on then.
I will go a leg up as well
Okay.
to get you off my back.
Can you bring back up the Zoom? There's some. Can you bring up the Zoom screen? The people. I can't let Andrew and BJ get off. Right, Andrew, got an anniversary coming up? Yep. BJ too coming up. How many years? Oh, is he muted?
No, I unmuted.
Oh, how many years you got, Andrew?
It'll be 4 years.
Okay. Hey, do we have happy bucks out there? Oh, not all at once. Andy.
Yeah, I'm delighted for the first time in 5 years or 6 to have Bob and Donnell joining us for a week or two. And so I'm very happy about that.
Okay. So we got a bunch here now. Okay.
All right, here's some money in honor of my son. As some of you know, my grandfather joined Rotary in 1922. My father joined Rotary in the 50s. I joined in the 90s. 2 years ago, my son joined Rotary in Eugene, Oregon. And I got a call the other day. He said, Dad, I am the president-elect of my club. So,
I've got a happy and sad find. I'm happy because I don't have to listen to my husband screaming at the top of his lungs and threatening to throw things at the television. And I'm sad because UConn lost and we're done.
So sad. Matt.
Like Tom, I'll be away for the tournament too, so I'll pay a little in
Thank you.
advance, but we're just going to Rocky Point. That's kind of old news, but the new news is that I have a new car.
Ooh.
We've been a one-car family for about 90 days. And at some point, you can do that, but not yet. But it's my midlife crisis car, about 20 years too late. So bright little red shiny thing out in the parking lot. If you want to check it out afterwards, it's a Lexus RC 350. So
Okay.
very, but it was
A lot of letters and numbers.
it was used, so I got a good deal on it.
Well, that was a perfect segue to me because we officially became a 3-car family. Yeah, my son just got his license and he just picked up his grandparents' 2002 4Runner. So I'd like to chip in more, but insurance kicks in. So
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. That's all I got.
all right.
Great.
Well, thank you, Michael, and we're excited there. So I guess a question to you on the trophy is, are we going to be naming it? Is the first year winner gonna name it? So I guess something to think about there. So, but it should be a fun event. And what's the club's cut on the gambling? Okay, good. All right. So significant. So it'll be fun and you'll lose lots of money too. So just come on down. It'll be fun. All right. So that brings our meeting to a close here. I want to say thank you to Michael for joining us. It was a great presentation. It was wonderful to learn about Live Theater Workshop. So again, if you'd like to support, please do visit their website and pay them a visit. It'll be great. And it was great to see so many visiting Rotarians. So Terry, Peggy, Corliss, G, and Bob. Am I missing anyone? Thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you best on all the best on your journeys. It's a lot of driving. I'm not sure if Bob, you need to add a plane to the list of things to be able to get around. But thanks so much for stopping by. I also want to say thank you to, well, I know Sergeant, you need to come over here, and the past district governor is brazenly just on the phone here. My goodness. Sounds like my son.
my mother's condo is selling, and I'm not going to Georgia to sign the papers.
Oh, okay.
So, so I went to my bank, and my bank said, sorry, we cannot notarize it. So that's the traveling notary coming to the Viscount. If I try to recruit him from Rotary, would you forgive me?
All right. That sounds fair. But I want to thank Audrey and Steve. Thank you so much for organizing our Zoom and coordinating all of that. So And Michael, thank you for putting together the event and being our sergeant today. Paul, thank you for the invocation. And Matt, thank you for leading us in the pledge. And I guess with all that, unless there's anything else for the good of the cause, I'd ask you all to rise and join me on reciting the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. All right. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thanks, everybody.